Hello everyone, I'm Manakyn. I'm a small YouTube streamer. Really small, in fact. I don't have more than 2K subs right now. I'll give the exact number somewhere on the screen, and I don't make more than 40 bucks a month on YouTube at most. I wanted to record this video partially because some of my viewers wanted to get to know me a little bit better, and I figured there's no better way than to talk in an uncensored way about my life. I probably won't do very much editing other than cutting out moments of silence where I'm thinking about what I want to say. By the way, the title of the video is not actually clickbait. I did in fact turn down a 7-figure salary job because it would take up too much time from other things that I wanted to do, and one of those things was to make YouTube content and stream. This is kind of the story of that. Maybe I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Historically, I'm one of those straight A students. I studied and I got good grades and I got straight A's in college and my master's degree. And at the time when I started streaming, I was trying to go for my PhD. I was near the end of my PhD, actually. I was just about to start writing my dissertation. At the time, I was actually suffering from a really bad bout of depression, and I met with like a therapist once a week, and it was an awful time in my life because partially I didn't know what to do with myself, and partially let's just say there were a lot of bad events surrounding my life at the time. Well, I tried to outreach a little bit more, and one of the ways I tried to outreach was to make YouTube content and chat with some of my commenters. I started making YouTube content January 1st actually of 2020, and at the time I was making skits. Unfortunately, that didn't get very many views and didn't get very much watch time, and so I moved to streaming under the encouragement of some of my loyal viewers, and well, I got a lot more watch time, I got a lot more views, and so I did a lot more gaming streams. As you can imagine, since I was getting my PhD at the time, I was a little bit older than my audience. My audience at the time was somewhere between maybe 14 to 24 approximately, and while I was streaming, I would stream games, but I noticed there was a really interesting trend among many of my viewers, especially many of my returning viewers. As they got more comfortable with me, they started talking more about their lives, and in the form of advice or questions. Some of the questions I got a lot of were, how do I ask a girl out, and how do I deal with a bully situation, or how do I decide what I want to do for college, or maybe my parents want to push me to study math and I don't want to study math. A lot of those types of real life questions, and I thought that was really interesting because, at the time I was, streaming games. My first stream was Cuphead, my second stream was Legend of Zelda. I didn't have very many chatting streams until maybe a little bit later when I finally decided to implement some sort of chat at the end of my streams. After I finished playing a game, I would spend 30 minutes talking to some of my viewers and getting to know their lives. And there was a big latching onto that from some of the viewers, both the older viewers, maybe the viewers starting college, as well as some of the younger ones, maybe early high school. So I studied engineering in college, but perhaps you'd be a little bit surprised to know that one of my dreams in life was actually to be a high school teacher. And well, I pursued engineering at the time because, well, it's better salary, and nobody wants to be a high school teacher in the United States. It's very low salary, very low pay, you get very little respect. That's a little bit saddening, but maybe that's besides the point. So my ability to interact with, early high school students, late high school students, or even early college students, and provide some level of advice or some level of mentorship really took a place in my heart. And I really started to enjoy streaming, not from the gaming content or from the silly reactions. I really enjoyed the actual chatting with my viewers in my stream, which really touched me in a way because I suppose as I got older in my engineering degree, I went from being a perfect 4.0 student in undergrad to a perfect 4.0 student in master's. In order to be a perfect student, especially when it comes to engineering, you spend a lot of time alone. You spend a lot of time studying, and engineering barely has any human interaction. Yes, you can argue that there's a lot of collaboration with other fields and so on and so forth, but the reality is when you're doing engineering, you're either building a machine or you're staring at a computer and making code. And I started realizing how important it was to have a level of human interaction. The more I studied and the more I learned about, all my research I did in my PhD program, the less I wanted to, spend that research on some sort of random algorithm that felt like it had very little purpose other than for the sake of advancing science. Obviously, we advance science for the sake of humans, but as an engineer, you don't see that result very much. And it was a little bit disappointing. In my PhD program, I did actually a lot of research on children. In fact, one of the big pieces of my dissertation was children's technology. And so I got to interact with kids while I was implementing like robotics and different technologies, and that was probably my favorite part of my research. As I continued doing that, the more I realized how much I value interacting with people. And well, I've just recently graduated from my PhD program, and it feels like for a long time that I was trapped in this field. Trapped because, well, now that I've specialized in engineering, virtually all my job options are engineering, which are, well, let's be honest here, working with things and tinkering with things. And don't get me wrong, I love tinkering with things, and I still love coding, and I still love being able to, make cool programs and designs and all that as you do as an engineer. But I also really started to value the ability to help others in a more direct and personal level. And when I got that opportunity to stream, I really became addicted to that. I really became addicted to providing almost, to an extent, I could even say it was inspirational content. I noticed a lot of the kids who came to my stream almost felt lost. I know some of them felt like they were trapped in their families. Some of them felt like they were trapped by what they could and couldn't do. And that hit me really hard because that was a lot of how I felt as I graduated with my engineering degree as well. I decided at the time I would set up a Discord that was connected to my stream. One of the nice things about setting up that Discord is I set up an advice column, a little advice section where people could ask me questions and I could give them answers to the best of my ability, and that if I couldn't answer that, then maybe someone else could answer it that had that experience. And it was shocking how much that advice column was used. It shocked me maybe more than it should have. And it made me realize how, I don't want to say desperate, but how much many, both younger kids and older, those who are in college level or even older, are looking for some level of advice or some level of companionship in a figure that they could really rely on and trust, even if it's a public figure like a YouTuber. And it was a little bit of a shock to see that so many of my viewers actually just instantly trusted me after they joined 2 or 3 of my streams. Maybe that had more to do with the fact that I had a chat at the end of the stream, which gave me an opportunity to chat with them and get to know them. But it really made me want to create a community that was able to help and able to inspire each other. The more I learned about streaming and the more I tried to understand streaming, and I mean no offense to any established streamers, but you see some of the streamers, a lot of streamers nowadays, they're exaggerated. They get their viewers by yelling a lot. I guess nowadays gaming content is a lot more about screaming and shouting as you're shooting people in Call of Duty or so on and so forth. I think some of the most popular growing streamers are the ones that kind of make over the top jokes or go crazy, and they're not really relatable people. They're not really relatable figures, which to me maybe is a little bit disappointing. I don't mean any offense to any of those streamers, but obviously they're more there for the entertainment value and less there for the relatability. They're less there to help others. And maybe I feel like that is a bit lacking in the YouTube streamer world. Maybe that's partially YouTube's fault for pushing the people that make edgy jokes or go have controversies, because that gets views, and so YouTube pushes that and people watch it. I wanted to try to, for lack of a better word, create as wholesome of a community as possible. A community that wasn't big on cursing and, was more about creating a positive place for people to deal with their problems and deal with their fears. And I don't know how successful I've been so far, but it really brought me back to when I wanted to be a high school teacher. And it helped me realize that there's more than one way to help teenagers and young adults to find out who they are and what they want to do. You don't have to just become a teacher. Another way I can do it is interacting through a stream. I guess I got to the point where I valued being able to be a mentor through the stream, even though I'm playing games. I valued that a lot. I always tell my viewers that I don't want to play a game and you show up for the game. I want you to show up for whatever real help that I can give you, which is difficulties and problems, and giving you someone relatable and giving you someone who's willing to share difficulties and hardships. I have been fairly open, for example, of the difficulties I've had in the past with depression, and that has helped a lot of my viewers, convince them to try different things like go to therapy or open up to their parents. And especially when streamers are almost required to live this, I guess you can say, this perfect life in order for them to get any views, I feel like some of my viewers actually feel relief that I'm willing to say, hey, I'm not perfect, I do have problems. Being able to do that for others has become so much more valuable to me than money. I guess you can say everyone has something that makes them feel valuable in life, and the more and more I do this, the more I realize that this is something I feel puts value in my life. You know, another thing I guess I could say is that I was considered very good at engineering. Like I said, I was a 4.0 student, I have my PhD, and the unfortunate reality is sometimes the things you like to do and the things that you are good at aren't always the same thing. You know, sometimes you have to make that choice. Are you going to pursue something you're good at and you can be successful at? Or if you're going to pursue something you like, but sometimes you're not going to be all that successful. To an extent, you could say I'm kind of in a risky, precarious situation. I don't know exactly what I'm doing with my life, but one thing I do know that has brought a lot of value to who I am, more and more, especially with the fact that for most of my life I've dealt with depression and I felt alone. I felt like nobody cared about me. I feel like with my ability to help others, I feel like that puts other people in a position where they start to care about me as well. And I guess I wonder if I'm ever going to even have a career out of this, but I wanted to share that with you all because that is something that I hope can inspire you. Sometimes you like something and you're not good at it, or sometimes you're good at something and you don't particularly like it. And there's no wrong choice. You can pursue something that you don't like so you can make a lot of money and then use that money to help you on the things that you do like, or you can just go right to the thing that you like. I'm not saying my way is necessarily correct or wrong, but maybe it's important to acknowledge that there are some options for you out there. And so for anyone out there who is actually watching, who's not sure what they want to do in their life, I guess I can't help you make that choice, but what I can tell you is that no matter what you do, there's no wrong decision. Obviously, choosing success is I think society considers that the correct choice, but pursuing something that you enjoy, even if you're not going to be as successful, or even if you're not going to be successful at all, that's not something to be ashamed of. I don't think there is any shame in pursuing something that you enjoy, even if you're going to sacrifice, or at least in my case, $1 million salary in order to, pursue minimum wage. And I say pursue minimum wage because I'm not close to even making minimum wage on YouTube. Like I said, $30 to $40 a month. Yeah, that's I'm lucky that I can at least try to look for other jobs right now that'll be willing to pay me maybe $40,000, $50,000 a year. And I mean, that's all you really need to survive, right? So for me, that's okay. Everyone is motivated by something different. Know that your career in and of itself doesn't always have to be the perfect or right career. It doesn't have to be the career that will make you $1 million. It doesn't have to be the career that you have to absolutely pursue in order to satisfy your life. But I hope that, when you have to deal with this problem, when you have to deal with choosing a career, you can at least consider, something that you enjoy. Something that you enjoy, even if it might not make you the most successful, even if you have other options. Know that it's never a wrong option to pursue something that you like. I don't know where this conversation has gone. Like I said, this is uncensored, so I just kind of went in a big spiral around my mind right now. But I hope that if you're watching this, you found some level of comfort or some degree of maybe the word is wisdom that you can take with you. So I don't plan on making these types of videos very often, just every once in a while to get to know me a little bit better. But if you do like the video, please let me know. Please let me know if you got anything out of this video, or if you this video helped you come to a conclusion, or maybe made you feel a little bit more comfortable with what you're doing with your life. And you can always stop by my channel and hang out on a stream or something. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.